everybody, welcome to day 3 of Rhys's stories. The Great Goat Chase by Tony Bonning and Sally Hobson. Mr. Farmer had a field, and in this field he decided to grow turnips. So he ploughed the field and sowed the seeds in long neat rows, up and down until the whole field was done. The seeds grew and grew, and soon every row was filled with large, round, plump turnips. Now Mr. Farmer had 3 goats which he milked every morning, but one day Mr. Farmer left the gate open, and the goats slipped through it, tripped down the road and right into the turnip field. They could hardly believe their good fortune. Straight away they began to chomp the turnips row after row. Mr. Farmer, who was having a late morning cup of tea, looked out of his kitchen window and saw those goats gobbling up his turnips. "Oh no," he wailed, running out of the door, spilling tea everywhere. Mr. Farmer then tried to chase the goats out of the field, but those goats had minds of their own. One ran this way, one ran that way, and the third ran another. Could Mr. Farmer get those goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. "I know," said Mr. Farmer. "I'll get Dog." He gave a loud whistle, and Dog came running. He rushed into the field and tried to herd the goats. But Dog was a sheepdog, and these were goats. One went this way, one went that way, and the third went another, round and round the field until Dog was exhausted. Could Dog get those goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. As Mr. Farmer and Dog stood at the gate, wondering what to do, Horse stuck his head over the fence. "What's the matter?" he asked. "Are those silly goats too fast for you?" "Probably," said Mr. Farmer wearily. "Never mind, I've got good long legs," said Horse. "I'll soon have them out of the turnip field." Horse jumped the fence and raced up the field, sending turnips flying. Now Horse was bigger and faster than the goats, but they could turn more easily. One turned this way, and then one turned that way, and the third turned another way. Could Horse get those goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. As Horse sat down beside Mr. Farmer and Dog, Cow came up to them. "Let me show you how it's done," she said. "My big horns will soon send them on their way." And so they did. One goat went scampering this way, one goat went scampering that way, and the third went scampering another. Every way but the right way. Could Cow get those goats out of the turnip field? I don't know. No, she couldn't. Now Pig, who had been grinning at the efforts of his friends, decided to show them how it was done. "It's time to get the hoe," he said. "Show them a bit of my muscle." Pig pumped up his great shoulders and trotted into the turnip field. Then he dropped his head and charged with all his might. One goat nimbly tripped this way, one goat nimbly tripped that way, and the third nimbly tripped another. Could Pig frighten the goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. Mr. Farmer, Dog, Horse, Cow and Pig all sat down and cried their eyes out. "Boo, boo, boo," they howled. Just then little Buzzy Bee came buzzing by. "What's the matter?" she asked. When they all told her, she said, "I'll get those goats out of the turnip field." "You!" they exclaimed. "You, a teeny weeny tiny whiny tutty what you wee bee." "Yes, me," she said. Mr. Farmer, Dog, Horse, Cow and Pig all stopped crying and beginning laughing, ha ha, and laughing, ha ha, until they were flat on their backs, legs in the air, hysterical. When they had finished splitting their sides, little Buzzy Bee said, "Can I go and get the goats out of the turnip field now?" "All right, off you go," they said, drying their eyes. Little Buzzy Bee flew into the turnip field. She buzzed round and round the goats' heads, and then she said, "If you don't leave this field right now, I'll sting your bottoms." Could little Buzzy Bee get those goats out of the turnip field? Yes, she could. The goats didn't need a second telling as fast as their little hooves could carry them. They were off. Out of the gate, up the road and onto the hillside. At the gate, Mr. Farmer, Dog, Horse, Cow and Pig all stood feeling very silly. "Sorry, little Buzzy Bee," they said humbly. And they all agreed that sometimes little folk can do things much better than big folk. The end. I hope you get out in the fresh air, and if you ever swing or anything, just get out and enjoy the story. And I hope you keep following me on YouTube. Bye.